London. The last time Tracy Grimshaw was in the English capital for a royal event, it was for the wedding of Prince William to Kate Middleton in 2011. Everyone was joyous. London was buzzing and people were happy that, William was happy, she told 9 News. Com.au. And William and Harry were happy. The brothers were together and Prince Philip was alive. It was 11 years ago. A lot has happened in 11 years. The A Current Affair host has returned to London along with Peter Overton, Karl Stefa and Alison Langdon for Nine's coverage of the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II today. Explainer, key times and what to expect of the Queen's funeral. When I was flying out, I walked into the airport and everyone was talking about it, she said. One of the staff there was saying, I can't stop watching television. I can't stop thinking about her. And I thought, this has impacted everybody. I have such a respect for her. Her resilience, her constancy and her dedication. She could have lived a gilded life in her palaces and on her country estates, but she never ever shirked. She was working until 2 days before she died. I just respect her enormously. Grimshaw has covered some of the world's biggest stories during her more than 40 years at Nine, but she says being at Buckingham Palace last Wednesday when the Queen left her London home for the final time was a moment she will never forget. We were right opposite the palace and we watched her come out through the gates, she said. We were taking live pictures so we weren't on air at that moment. We've covered some huge stories in our business, but to be front and center for a historical event like this, I will remember this moment for the rest of my life. Watching that carriage go past, I could see the sun glinting off the diamonds on the imperial crown. In watching that ping, ping, ping of the sun, and it was like we were feeling her presence and feeling her power. I think everybody lined up along the mall was feeling that too. She came through the gates at 2:22 p.m. exactly. There were thousands of people who had been waiting hours to see her and you could have heard a pin drop. They were so quiet and respectful. It was incredibly powerful. Grimshaw felt that overwhelming presence and sense of emotion when she observed Her Majesty lying in state at Westminster Hall. Her raw and honest emotions spilled out on the TV as she told viewers about the experience. After all these years and she's still doing her duty. And I really think she'd just like to get back to her husband. Tributes. Share your reflections of the Queen here. While much of this week's events have been tied to history, Grimshaw says the Queen's personal touch has been evident. I was talking to royal commentator Ingrid Seward and I said to her, I keep hearing about the things that the Queen had asked for in all of this. For her daughter, Princess Anne, to accompany her home to Buckingham Palace, if she died in Balmoral. Then she asked for the lights to be on in the hearse, so that if she arrived at nighttime, everyone could see her. She wanted to be seen by her people. She always wanted to be available for people. In preparing to co-host Nine's coverage of the late monarch's funeral at Westminster Abbey, Grimshaw says her sole focus is to do Her Majesty justice and give the public the chance to say a final goodbye. I think people are feeling her loss and are missing her for their own reasons, she said. For me, I love the fact that she loved dogs and horses. I love that because I know how grounding that is. I know it's weird that you can feel an affinity with someone that you've never met, whose life is so very different to yours, but I have a sense of that little part of her life and a sense of what her values were. I think everyone watching her funeral on Monday night will be missing her in their own way. Nine's rolling coverage continues with Georgie Gardner and David Campbell will mark the end of our longest reigning monarch with 3 hours of coverage honoring the Queen's amazing life. At 3 p.m. Tracy Grimshaw, Peter Overton, Karl Stefa and Alison Langdon will lead Nine's coverage from Westminster Abbey, Buckingham Palace, and Windsor Castle. Special state-based editions of 9 News will be broadcast from 6 p.m., 5:30 p.m. Adelaide, 4 p.m. Perth. Before we return to England at 7 p.m. and roll right through the evening, featuring coverage from the BBC headed by the world's preeminent royal expert Hugh Edwards, live and commercial-free.